Okay, so in the music section, we have the Fresh Prince not being so fresh anymore. There's actually a couple of things to unpack on that one. We have a legendary musician getting knighted. We also have a beloved metal guitarist who has been diagnosed with a fairly significant illness that we have to talk about. We have that and a bunch of touring information. We have some really massive tours from bands like Trivium, Fit for a King, Entheos, etc. So let's just dive into the music section, shall we? Welcome, nerds, to the Clips channel. If you are new here, then let me welcome you to the Clips. This is a smaller portion of a much larger video that happens over on the main channel. It's a series I like to call The Week in Nerddom. This right here is the music section. We are going to be talking about music-related things, tours, new music, reacting to videos, just regular news in the music news section, all of the things. Super excited to have you here. Let's get into the news. I'm going to cut in here real quick, nerds, and just remind you that we have a channel partner, DUBBY. See where we can get that in focus. DUBBY! Hi, DUBBY! Yeah! Channel partner DUBBY. Drinks like this, the jugs, there's like 30 servings in here. It comes out to roughly $1 per serving. So one serving is approximately 8 to 10 ounces. If you do like I do and you drink them in bigger things like this, then you usually are probably going to use 2 servings, but that's still $2. Whereas, you spend $5 at the gas station to get an energy drink there. So there's that. But also, when it comes in a powder like this, if you're starting your physical fitness journey like I kind of am these days, then you can mix the caffeine with the nootropics and the brain power stuff with your protein, and you can be getting a little bit of a really awesome pre-workout going there. So yeah, we're not going to do a long spot for them this week, but just know that they're there. You can go to dubby.gg and go check out all the things they have. They are the only energy drink maker that does a s'mores flavored energy drink. I just ordered mine, so it'll be here in a couple of days, and I will let you know just how delicious it is, but I expect it to be pretty delicious. So there's that. And then code at checkout is generally nerdy, all one word, and you get 10% off of everything in your cart. So not just the drinks, but like if you get a shaker bottle or you get the hydration drinks, because they have more than just energy drinks, they have hydration stuff as well, which is also dope. There's merch. They have a million different kinds of shaker bottles. It's good stuff. I appreciate the people over at DUBBY. They're super helpful. They're super awesome for partnering with the channel. Go check them out. Once again, dubby.gg, code generally nerdy for 10% off at checkout. Thank you very much, nerds. Let's get back to the show. Okay, so music, we have no follow-ups or corrections, but we do have some new music to talk about. The first one is, I gotta apologize off the bat, just because apparently a record came out for this artist that I was unaware of 2 months ago, but I have listened to it, so we'll talk about that in this week's episode of That Just Happened. However, we're talking about Will Smith, and he just dropped a new song. I'm pretty sure it's from the record. I haven't listened to the entire record yet. So I will, though, before we get to That Just Happened. But the name of the song is Pretty Girls, and there's a couple of issues with this. I don't know if it's part of the record, so we're not going to talk about the record as a whole, but it is out. The name of the record is based on a true story, and this feels like Will Smith really grasping at relevancy. We'll get into greater detail in the episode of That Just Happened, because we will talk about this individually. But man, the really crazy thing about this is apparently he's going back on his promise to his grandma about not cursing in his music, because this song and some stuff off of that new record, he's dropped that whole concept of being a clean rapper and how, he's a positive role model for the youth and etc. like he used to tout in previous records, the ad nauseum to a certain degree. So yeah, very, very weird situation there. And I almost agree with some of the conservative commentators who are, talking about how if you really did like Pretty Girls, I don't know that you would have to write a whole song about it. So like that seems a little weird, but I mean, it is hip hop culture. So I kind of, it is something that being as I'm not a traditional conservative talking head, I do understand a little bit more of the bluster and the posturing and stuff that comes with hip hop culture. So like, yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's definitely, I don't think Will Smith is gay. That's what I'm trying to say. That's where we're going with that. So let's continue on. More new music this week. We got a new track from Between the Buried and Me. The name of the track is Things We Tell Ourselves in the Dark. It is the first single from their upcoming new album, which is called The Blue Nowhere. That will be out September 12th. It is also their first new record on their new record label, Inside Out Music. Pre-orders are live for the new record if you want to follow the link in the show notes. So yeah, if you want to go do that, this is a little bit of a departure for Between the Buried and Me. And I say a little bit, but that's just because like a lot of the stuff that you expect from this band, even though they are like modern prog to its perfect definition because they go all over the map. And in this song, they're kind of all over the map as far as musical genres go anyway. But it feels like this record, judging from some of the interviews they've conducted recently, is very specifically trying to be a bunch of different things and is like branching out into all of their favorite genres and things. And this song is that schizophrenic that totally makes sense. But that's kind of what you expect from Between the Buried and Me these days. So super excited to hear more as we get closer to the release of the record. But go check out the first single. Once again, it's Things We Tell Ourselves in the Dark. It is like 7 minutes long, because again, Between the Buried and Me, so be aware, but otherwise it's great. Go check it out. Oh, and then other new music stuff. Reba Meyers, the guitarist from Code Orange and sometimes from Marilyn Manson, she is putting out a solo record. She's also going on a solo tour, which we will talk about in the next section, but putting out a solo record called Clouded World. She put out the title track for that, which again, we will talk about in That Just Happened, but the title track is out. This is actually the third single from this record. The record is set to be released sometime early 2026. No a specific date on that one just yet. But of note for this title track, it was produced by Steve Albini, the late, great Steve Albini, 6 months before he passed. So very probably the last thing he recorded as a producer, which is pretty epic. We'll get into the quality of the song in the episode of That Just Happened that will follow this week, but as it stands, just of note for this, Steve Albini, that's freaking awesome, honestly. That is what we have for new music, though. Let's kick on over to tours and festivals. First thing here is Fit for a King. They are going on the Lonely God tour. Support on this tour is coming from Make Them Suffer, Spite, and a band I've heard a lot about recently, but still haven't listened to their actual music, 156 Silence. The tour starts October 30th in Phoenix, Arizona, runs through December 7th in Dallas, Texas. There is a link in the description if you want to get tickets. Though if before Friday, you're gonna have to get a code because I don't have one and it is on pre-sale right now. So go check that out. And then Trivium is our next tour announcement, which this one was anticipated. What with the demise of their previous European tour, they announced we're getting something set up and it's gonna be North American. Well, here's something that's set up. They have support on this one. It is called Ascend Above the Ashes is the name of the tour. The support on this comes from two really interesting bands to be going out with Trivium, honestly, and that's Jinjer and Heriot. Jinjer, I think, makes a little bit of sense, but Heriot, I feel like it's just a little too dark to go out with Trivium. I don't know. I can see Heriot going out with Jinjer and somebody else. I can see Jinjer going out with Trivium and somebody else, but these three together is such an interesting combination. Anyway, the tour starts October 31st, so on Halloween in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, runs through December 14th in Orlando, Florida. Once again, tickets can be found if you follow the link in the show notes. From there, we have Entheos has announced they're going on a headlining tour. Support will be from Fallujah, the Zenith Passage, and Tracheotomy. Have not heard of Zenith Passage. Wow, that is a tongue twister. Zenith Passage or Tracheotomy before this, so interested to check those guys out. This one starts a day before the Trivium tour, which is October 30th in New Orleans, Louisiana. Runs through December 6th in Nashville, Tennessee, and it kind of goes all over the place. So there you have a chance to see Entheos on this one, which is a band to see. Continuing on, like I said in the new music section, we have stuff from Reba Meyers. Clouded World Tour begins August 12th. It is a very short tour. Starts in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, runs through August 25th, so about 2 weeks of tour in San Jose, California. Really not hitting a whole bunch of dates. Look, I think it's like something like 10 dates. Again, though, you can find a link in the description if you want to get tickets. Our final tour announced since we last spoke is 200 Stab Wounds, which this is going to be an epic tour. It is support from Vomit Forth, and that is why. 200 Stab Wounds and Vomit Forth on the same ticket. That is pretty nuts. The Weeping and Spy round out the bill. The tour starts September 8th in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. It runs through August 1st in Covington, Kentucky. So yeah, once again, link can be found in the show notes, which you can find down below if you're watching the video. If you're on the audio, it's just there. Yeah, that's what we got for tours and festivals. Let's talk now about regular ass news. First up, starting on a downbeat, we have the guitarist from Hatebreed, Wayne Lozenak, I think is how that is pronounced, has been diagnosed with a non-cancerous brain tumor. Apparently, the doctors found it in time. That is the reason why he was taken off of the tour in Europe that they are currently on, is so that he could come back and get prepared for surgery. It sounds like they anticipate this going off without a hitch, so he will be out of commission for a while recovering from surgery, and then will return to the road with Hatebreed. Pretty awesome if it plays out that easily, but this is technically brain surgery, so let's just kind of put out good vibes and say prayers or whatever you got to do so that we don't lose Hatebreed's guitar player, because that would really suck. Next on regular ass news, we have Roger Daltrey, the singer from The Who, that guy. He has been knighted on King Charles' birthday, no less. King Charles' 81st birthday, Roger Daltrey was knighted, so now we must call him Sir Roger Daltrey, which is kind of cool because, you know, The Who being the greatest rock and roll band of all time, yes, I put them over the Beatles, and no, I don't want to apologize for it. That's pretty awesome. That just was something that we really needed to just note, just because it's that cool. That's what we got for regular ass news. Let's talk about this week's suggestion. Musical suggestion is Code Orange's first major label record, Forever. This is their debut, and legitimately it is a banger from front to back. You get a lot of the taste of what Code Orange would evolve into. This is still very much rooted in their hardcore origins, but you get that industrial stuff, you get that programming, the technical side of things, and it's just the right amount of flavor. I freaking love this album. Standout tracks on this record are the title track, Forever, Bleeding Into the Blur, sorry. I almost said Bleeding Through, which is a band name, but Bleeding Into the Blur is probably my absolute favorite track on this record. But Hurt Goes On is our third suggested. If you're just gonna kind of breeze through it, those are the three tracks: Forever, Bleeding Into the Blur, and Hurt Goes On. 100% recommend, though. You just let this thing play from front to back. It's like just under an hour long and absolutely worth your time. I seriously love this album. That is your suggestion for the week. Code Orange, Forever. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of these sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, probably here.